Good morning. Let's continue strength of materials. In the last two classes, we have discussed about the beams, types of beams, types of supports, types of loads, shear force, their calculation, shear force diagram, bending moment, how to calculate bending moment diagram, then sign conventions to calculate support reactions, shear force, bending moment. Then we also discussed about the variation of shear force and bending moment for various loading conditions. Lastly, we discussed about the point of contraflexion. Having the idea about shear force, bending moment, support reactions, shear force, then types of loads, let us proceed to solve numerical problems. To begin with, let us consider a simple numerical problem. Consider a simply supported beam. Subjected to a uniformly distributed load, a point load, and another point load of magnitude 3 kilonewton, and the beam extends for another 2 meter beyond this point load. And this is the loading diagram. A simply supported beam of span 10 meter subjected to a UDL of intensity 2 kilonewton per meter over a length of 2 meter from left support. It is subjected to a point load of magnitude 5 kilonewton at a distance of 4 meter from left support, and another point load of 3 kilonewton at a distance of 2 meter from right support. A beam is subjected to 3 loads, 2 point loads and 1 uniformly distributed load. Before start solving this problem, let us follow this procedure for our convenience. As we always concentrated on face-to-face interaction, let us facilitate pages to interact face-to-face while solving numeric problem. So, for all the numerical problems, particularly in this chapter, always we start solving problem in a fresh page, particularly that left hand side we write loading diagram and right hand side we do calculation, so that we can avoid doing mistake, and also it is easy to observe the figure and do the calculation, and the calculated value can be easily pasted in the diagram for drawing shear force and bending moment diagram. For the entire chapter we do like this. Even we left out with half page or quarter of the page in the present problem, let us leave that page as it is and proceed to the next page. So, every problem have the facility of interacting face to face So consider this figure and write this figure in the left hand side page and leave right hand side page for calculation. After understanding the loading condition, let us decide, since in the problem it is this is the problem. For this problem it is required to calculate shear force and bending moment. Since it is not mentioned, we are empowered to locate the salient points. Generally we consider the loading points as salient points. Also we consider support reaction points are also loading points. Hence, for the sake of convenience, consider support points as A and B, and this A represents for the support point and also it represents for the commencement of the UDL. Clearly mark the salient point. Next point is B and mark this point as C, and this is D. AB represents support reaction points and BCD represents the intermediate points. On those points you need to calculate shear force, bending moments, and hence to draw the shear force and bending moment diagrams. After marking salient points, mark the reactions at A as RA and RB. Now we'll come to the right hand side. Let us calculate first support reactions. As we already discussed, in shear force and bending moment, horizontal and horizontal force components are nothing to do with the shear force and bending moment. Hence, we do not consider horizontal forces or force components, if at all, if acting on the beam, and hence we do not consider the horizontal equilibrium condition. So, remaining two equilibrium conditions, namely algebraic sum of vertical force is equal to 0 and algebraic sum of moments of all the forces about any point is equal to 0. Again, for the sake of convenience, let us apply moment equilibrium condition first. While applying moment equilibrium condition, always we take moment at an unknown point, so that one unknown becomes 0, the another unknown can be easily calculated. So let us state the support reactions. Let RA and RB be the support reactions at A and B respectively. Apply moment equilibrium condition at A or B. Let us apply moment equilibrium condition at point A. For equilibrium, applying sigma m about A is equal to 0. That is, when we apply moment equilibrium condition to calculate support reactions, we need to consider all the forces acting on the beam, including support reactions. The force which is creating 0 moment or the force which is not creating moment will not be considered for item. We leave the force which is creating 0 moment and consider the remaining forces. Let us proceed from left hand side to right hand side, and this is our moment center. Moment due to RA at point A is 0 because this line of action of RA is passing through A, there is no perpendicular distance. As we know that is Moment of a force is equal to force into perpendicular distance. So this RA will not have any perpendicular distance, hence moment due to RA is 0 at point A. We are not writing that. Next, consider this uniformly distributed load acting between A and B. We have to convert this uniformly distributed load into a point load. The point load of uniformly distributed load is equal to intensity of UDL 2 kilonewton per meter multiplied by the span over which it is acting, it is 2 meter, and it is assumed to be acting at the center of the UDL, 2 divided by 2. If we consider this UDL and convert this UDL to a point load, so it acts at the center like this, and about point A it will create the clockwise moment. Treat that clockwise moment as positive. So the tendency of this point load is to turn the beam in the direction of in which clock is moving, it is clockwise direction, and we consider clockwise moment as positive. So RA will not create any moment, we are not writing. Next, uniformly distributed load, convert this uniformly distributed load to a point load, 2 into 2, 4, and it is acting at the center, and this point load is creating the clockwise moment, hence it is positive. 2 into 2, it is point load, and it is acting at the center, 2 by 2. Next, coming to this 5 kilonewton load, 5 kilonewton load, again it is creating a clockwise moment about point A. It is 5 into 4 perpendicular distance. So line of action of force to the line of action of the moment center. 5 into 4, and this 5 kilonewton is also creating clockwise moment, as hence it is positive, plus 5 into 4. Next, consider 3 kilonewton. Again, about point A, this 3 kilonewton is also creating the clockwise moment. Tendency of the force to turn the beam or to rotate the beam. So tendency is just as consider this as the moment center. If you consider only this 3 kilonewton, and this tendency is to rotate the beam in the clockwise direction because of this application of load. So this is creating again clockwise moment, plus 3 into 4 plus 4, 8 meter. 8 minus RB into, let us rewrite this, RB into 10, that is equal to 0. If we calculate this, so then we will get RB is equal to, RB is equal to, it is 4.8 kilonewton. Now, we calculated RB, left with another unknown, it is RA. This unknown can be calculated by applying another available equilibrium condition, namely vertical force equilibrium condition, and applying sigma V is equal to 0, we can also use sigma Fy is equal to 0. That is, when we apply force equilibrium condition, we have to consider all the forces acting on the beam. Here we treat upward forces as positive and downward forces as negative. We also consider this support reactions as force. Again proceed from left hand side to right hand side and consider upward as positive and downward as negative. At point A, reaction acting in the upward direction treated as positive RA. Between A and B there is UDL. Convert UDL to a point load, and point load of this UDL again it is acting in the downward direction. Just we want only direction here, since we are considering only loads. Convert this UDL to a point load. Where it is acting, it is not required now here when we consider vertical force equilibrium condition, only we want direction. So 2 into 2, 4 acting in the downward direction. Hence it is negative, minus 2 into 2. Next, consider this ready-made 5 kilonewton point load acting in the downward direction. That's also minus 5. At point D there is a downward point load, again that's also negative, minus 3. And at point B there is upward support reaction, treat it as positive, plus RB, that is equal to 0. Here, see, in the previous step we considered only this, we have written only these 4 forces and their corresponding distance, whereas here we have written all the 5 forces, because there shall not be any confusion. RA here in the first, when we applied moment equilibrium condition, we have not considered this moment due to RA, because this RA will not create any moment, hence we are not written. And we consider the remaining forces, it is UDL point loads, because they are creating moment. Whereas when we apply force equilibrium condition, vertical force equilibrium condition, and we are interested with only forces, and hence we have considered all the forces from A to B. There are 5 forces or loads including support reaction. So solving this, you will get RA plus RB is equal to 12 kilonewton, and we know already RB, therefore RA is equal to 12 minus 4.8, that is equal to 7.2 kilonewton. So we calculated support reaction. This is very, very important. Calculation of support reactions are very, very important. The correctness of the shear force and bending moment diagram purely depends on correct calculation of support reaction. We should be very, very careful to calculate support reactions. After calculating support reactions, let us mark these magnitudes on the loading diagram. RA is equal to 7.2 kilonewton and RB is equal to 4.8 kilonewton. In the problem, it is asked to draw shear force and bending moment. Let us draw shear force diagram, bending moment diagram after knowing the shear force values and bending moment values. A simple approach is that we can draw the shear force diagram even without calculate shear forces to begin with. Wherever required, it is required, we can calculate shear force and proceed. To begin with, let us use this direct approach to draw the shear force diagram by using the completed loading diagram. We have the magnitude of loads at all the serial points. Let us produce those salient points in the downward direction by means of dotted line. We can easily draw the shear force diagram with this completed loading diagram. For that, let us draw the shear force reference line by leaving sufficient space above the reference line. On the reference line, the magnitude is 0. Above the reference line, magnitudes are positive, and below the reference line, values are negative. As we considered forces from left hand side and proceeded in the right hand side, here also to draw the shear force diagram, let us proceed from left hand side to the right hand side to draw the shear force diagram. And we have the idea of variation of shear force diagram for various loading condition. Let us quickly recall the variation of shear forces for various loading condition. For a point load, it's a vertical line and it moves in the direction of forces acting. For a uniformly distributed load, it is a linear line, an inclined line. For no loading condition, it is horizontal line. And in this problem, we come across only those three conditions. So one is a point load, another one is UDL, and the other one is UDL, it is no load, point load, no load, point load, no load, and point load. So on the reference line, it is the magnitude of shear force is 0. At point A, there is a support reaction and it is acting in the upward direction, 7.2 kilonewton. Of course, we have shown this reaction below the loading diagram. This is nothing to do with this. We can even this reaction can be shown above the diagram also like this. You can show like this also. So by making use of principle of transmissibility that we already studied, you can produce the line of action of force in the forward or backward direction placed at the convenient point without changing its direction, line of action and magnitude. Even then also the beam will be in equilibrium condition. Now, RA acting in the upward direction, the magnitude is 7.2 kilonewton. Let us go up in the upward direction to an extent of 7.2 kilonewton. As we know, the shear variation of shear force is a vertical line for a point load. We had gone up by 7.2 kilonewton, mark it as 7.2 kilonewton. From A to B, there is UDL. Convert this UDL to a point load, 2 into 2, 4 kilonewton. It is acting in the downward direction. And to draw the shear force diagram, we have to move in the downward direction and you have to follow the variation of shear force diagram for UDL. As we know, variation of shear force diagram for uniform distributed load is a linear line or inclined line. Come down linearly by 4 kilonewton from between A and B. So starting from point A, come down linearly by 4 kilonewton. We had gone up by 7.2 kilonewton. If we come down by 4 kilonewton, left with it is 3.2 kilonewton. Next, that's all. This is the variation of shear force diagram for uniformly distributed load. 2 into 2, 4. And the variation of shear force diagram for uniformly distributed load is inclined or linear line. We had come down linearly from A to B by 3.2 kilonewton, inclined line. Between B and C, no load. For no load, the variation of shear force diagram is horizontal line. Again, here also it is 3.2 kilonewton. At point C, there is a point load acting in the downward direction, 5 kilonewton. Come down. So point load means it is shear force diagram is a vertical line and move in the direction of load acting. Come down by 5 kilonewton. It is 5 minus 3.2, 1.8 kilonewton. So shear force diagram changed its sign from positive to negative at point C. The downward value is 1.8 8 kilonewton. Between C and D, no load. For no load, variation of shear force diagram is horizontal line. Again here 1.8 kilonewton. At point D, again there is a point load acting in the downward direction. Come down by 3 kilonewton. Already we had come down by 1.8 kilonewton. Another 3 kilonewton means it is 4.8 kilonewton. Between D and B, no load, it is horizontal line. Here also it is 4.8 kilonewton. At point B, there is upward load 4.8 kilonewton. Go up by 4.8 kilonewton vertically. It is point load means variation of shear force diagram is vertical line. Join with the reference line. So we can see here shear force diagram changed its sign from positive to negative, from top to bottom at a known point C, let it be. So already we are assumed that it is values above reference line as positive, it is a positive diagram. Values below reference line negative diagram. And we can designate this diagram as SFD. So like this comfortably we can draw the shear force diagram. Even if we consider salient points and calculate shear forces by using the concept, means by considering forces to the left side or to the right side, we will get the same values. That will check it when we come across or when it is necessitated to calculate shear force. So from the diagram we can write the values obtained. Shear force, and it is designated as F. Shear force at A, FA, it is above reference line 7.2 kilonewton. Shear force at B, again it is above reference line positive. FB 3.2 kilonewton. Next shear force at C, again it is above reference line. FC 3.2 kilonewton. And there are two values of shear forces. Let us write those values. Again FC is equal to minus Newton. Next shear force at point D, FD is equal to, there are two values, minus 1.8 kilonewton and minus 4.8 kilonewton, minus 1.8 kilonewton and FD is equal to minus 4.8 kilonewton. Next it is shear force at B, FB is equal to minus 4.8 kilonewton and write 0, you can write R naught, no problem. Likewise, quickly we can draw shear force diagram by using the loading diagram. Next is to draw bending moment diagram, we need to calculate bending moments with salient points. So what are all the salient points we consider to calculate support reactions and to draw the shear force diagram? Let us consider the same salient points even to draw the bending moment diagram. So next calculation is bending moment. Again, let us proceed from left hand side to right hand side to calculate bending moments and to draw the bending moment diagram. Consider point A. Bending moment at A, comma MA. M stands for bending moment and A stands for point A. Let us recall to calculate how to calculate bending moment that we already discussed. In order to calculate bending moment at a point, algebraic sum of moment of all the forces to the left of the point or to the right of the point considered bending moment at that point. Here at this point A, bending moment at point A is equal to algebraic sum of moment of all the forces to the left of point A or to the right of point A. If you consider the forces and moment to the left of A, there are no forces and no moment. To the right of A, there are forces here, there is a moment. Finally, moment due to all these forces is equal to moment due to the forces by considering to the left hand side. As there are no forces to left hand side, no moment, and to the right hand side if you consider, though there are forces, moment due to all these forces must be equal to 0. So bending moment at point A by considering to the left hand side means this arrow it indicates we have considered the forces. Which side we have considered, to the left hand side of the point or to the right hand side of the point. As there are no forces or loads to the left of point A, bending moment at point A is equal to 0. Even if we consider the loads acting to the right hand side of A, we will get the same bending moment 0. Next, coming to point B, MB, let us consider the forces acting to the again left hand side. To the left of B, a point load is there RA and another UDL is acting in the downward direction. Loads acting to the left of B creating and this reaction creating a clockwise moment and this uniformly distributed load creating the anti-clockwise moment. Hence, we consider this RA, bending moment due to this RA about point B as positive, automatically bending moment due to this UDL about point will be negative. If you consider support reaction, bending moment due to the support reaction, since it is creating clockwise moment about point B positive, 7.2 into the distance is 2 meter, 7.2 into 2. At point B, this 2 kilonewton is also creating the bending moment, it is negative, minus 2 into 2, as we consider clockwise as momentum, automatically anti-clockwise will be negative, 2 into 2 and it is acting at the midpoint 2 by 2. So this works out to be 10.4 kilonewton meter. Next, coming to point C, we can consider forces to the left of C or to the right of C. Let us consider to the left only. To the left of C again there are two forces, a reaction at point A, a UDL between A and B and a point load of course acting at point C. Consider forces one by one. At point A reaction is acting and this reaction creating a clockwise moment about point C, hence positive, that is plus 7.2 into the perpendicular distance is 4 meter Next is uniformly distributed load. Consider this UDL, convert this UDL 2 into 2, 4 acting at the midspan of the UDL, and this point load of UDL is creating an anti-clockwise moment about point C. This point load is creating anti-clockwise moment about C, hence it is negative. Minus 2 into 2. Though you can write directly, let us write in expressions so that we can get familiarized with the concept. 2 into 2 is point load creating anti-clockwise moment negative, and its perpendicular distance means perpendicular distance from the point of action or point of application of this point load of UDL to the moment center C is 2 by 2 1 plus 2 3 meter. You can write like that also, like that only, 2 by 2 plus 2. And if you come to point C, we are taking moment at point C, a point load is acting at C, and if you consider moment of this 5 kilonewton at C, and this 5 kilonewton will not create any moment because there is no perpendicular distance to this force. The line of action of this 5 kilonewton force passing through C only, hence it is not creating any moment, and we are not considering this 5 kilonewton. So bending moment due to this reaction and UDL is considered at point C, and this works out to be 16.8 kilonewton meter. Next salient point is the D. Let us consider point D, MD. We can calculate bending moment by considering forces to left hand side or to the right hand side. Let us consider forces acting to the right hand side, because if you consider forces to the right hand side, there is only one force, and at the same time if you consider to the left hand side 1, 2, 3, it is a time consuming. The values obtained by considering force to left hand side or to the right hand side will be same. When we consider force or load to calculate bending moment at a point, anti-clockwise will be positive and clockwise will be negative. At point D, 3 kilonewton will not create any moment, hence we are not considering this 3 kilonewton, and this support reaction 4.8 kilonewton will create moment, and it is anti-clockwise moment. To the right side consider, we treat or we consider anti-clockwise as means combination of as we already know discussed, combination of clockwise and anti-clockwise moment will create the sagging bending moment. Left side clockwise, right side anti-clockwise. Combination of clockwise and anti-clockwise moment will create the sagging bending moment, and sagging moments are treated as positive. So to the right side of D consider this 4.8 kilonewton will create anti-clockwise moment. To the right side consider anti-clockwise is positive. 4.8 into 2, that is equal to 6 kilonewton meter. Coming to point B, MB, again here you can consider forces to the left hand side or to the right hand side. Conveniently we can consider forces acting to the right hand side, as there are no forces acting to the right hand side of B, bending moment is 0. Even if we consider all these loads acting to the left hand side of B, we will get 0. So like this we can calculate bending moments at various points, at salient, particularly salient points. After calculating bending moments at salient points, we can comfortably draw the bending moment diagram. To draw bending moment diagram, again let us draw a reference line leaving sufficient space above and below to mark the values. Again here also values above reference lines are treated as positive and values below reference lines are treated as negative. In our present problem, there are no negative values, all are positive values. We can mark bending moment above the reference line only. Bending moment at point A is 0. Then bending moment at point B 10.4 kilonewton. Let us mark here 10.4 kilonewton meter. Then bending moment at point C 16.8 kilonewton meter. Next, bending moment at point D, it is 9.6 kilonewton meter. Lastly, bending moment at point B 0. So let us mark these points boldly with the dot so that we can easily recognize the points. After marking the values, let us draw the bending moment diagram by following the procedure which we already discussed. Bending moment diagram, variation of bending moment diagram for a point load, there is no change, and variation of bending moment diagram for a uniformly distributed load, it is a parabola. We start from the point, the origin, and we proceed in the forward direction till we reach the last point. In whatever the order we calculated the bending moment, in the same order we keep on joining the points by following the procedure for variation of bending moment diagram for various loading condition. So we started to calculate bending moment at point A, it is this point. Between A and B there is a uniformly distributed load. So variation of bending moment diagram for a uniformly distributed load is parabola. Between B and C, a no load condition. So for no load condition, variation of bending moment diagram is a linear line. Again at point C there is a point load, there is no change in the bending moment diagram. Between C and D, no loading condition, it is again linear line. Between D and B, no load, a linear line. So this is the bending moment diagram for this loading condition. All the values are positive and bending moment diagram lies above the reference line, so that the bending moment diagram is a positive. And designate this as BMD. In the beginning we discussed that the tendency of forces and moment is to bend the beam such a way that convexity downward and concavity upward is known as sagging bending moment. Sagging bending moments are treated as the positive. Here again, these combination of loads will try to bend the beam in the downward direction between the supports, and the tendency will be, it is convexity downward and concavity upward. That is what we got the positive bending moment diagram. If at all, if beam bends between A and B because of this combination of load, it will bend in the downward direction. As a result, this is the nature of shear force diagram and bending moment diagram. You can see another salient point in here in the shear force diagram. Shear force diagram changed its sign from positive to negative at a known point C. At this point, it is here it is 0 on the reference line. There is a positive shear force and a negative combination of positive and negative shear force. Generally, wherever shear force diagram changes its sign from positive to negative or negative to positive, there bending moments are always positive. Only exception case it is a negative that we will come across. Generally it is positive where shear force diagram changes its sign from positive to negative. In this problem, shear force diagram changed its sign from positive to negative at a known point. We have calculated bending moment, and this is the maximum bending moment. Maximum bending moment due to this applied load is 16.8 kilonewton meter in this beam. Suppose if this shear force diagram changed from positive to negative at another point, at an unknown point somewhere here or here because of different loading condition, that point to be located, that will again we'll learn in another problem. In the diagram, you can also mark this as this is a variation is parabola. This is in the this is parabola, and linear lines resembles the inclined line or straight line, and there is no problem. So like this we can solve the numerical problem. Whatever the procedure we adopted in this simple first problem, the same procedure we adopt throughout this module with a slight addition of loading conditions or moment condition, extra condition. So whatever the loading, number of loadings or a combination of load we come across, the same procedure we adopt to draw shear force and bending moment diagrams in the entire module. Thank you. We will meet in the next class.